Hi there, welcome to the second 10-minute moan of today. The topic of this 10-minute moan is another police attack at Manchester Airport. And I take for reference the article in The Sun, which headlines, Airport Horror, 3 cops hurt in attack at Manchester Airport with man tasered as 3 arrested over unacceptable assault. This case has got something very similar to the previous case a couple of weeks ago at Manchester Airport, where 4 police officers were attacked and 3 were hospitalised. The story goes, 3 cops have been hurt in an attack at Manchester Airport with a man tasered and 3 people arrested over the unacceptable assault. The attack happened after a patrol officer inspected an abandoned motor in an unauthorised space in Terminal 2 at 7:15 a.m. this morning. A man confronted the cops after they discovered the motor was uninsured. 3 unarmed officers were assaulted and left with injuries, Greater Manchester Police said. The injured officers were a woman and 2 men. The Sun understands. Cops deployed a taser before arresting a man and 2 women on suspicion of police assault. The trio were taken into custody and had all been bailed while cops probe the case. So they've arrested them, they've not charged them, and they've let them go. The exact same as the last time. Officers are now combing through body-worn video, CCTV and other available footage. In a statement, Greater Manchester Police said, assaults on officers are unacceptable. We will not hesitate to take action should any criminal offences be found. You've got 3 injured cops, therefore 3 witnesses, and I would imagine 3 lots of body cams. And you're wondering if any criminal offence has been found. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what it must be like to be a police officer told you're going to Manchester Airport today for a wee shift, right? You must think, well, what's the point? Because I'm just a punch bag and nobody gets charged. Because the 2 brothers that were involved in the previous attack at Manchester Airport on 4 police officers, 2 women, 2 men, 3 of which ended up in hospital, never got arrested. Sorry, did get arrested, then released and still no charged. Now, we've got a GMP statement in full, that's the Greater Manchester Police. At around 7:15 a.m, patrolling officers inspected an abandoned vehicle in an unauthorised space at Manchester Airport. While conducting inquiries which found the vehicle was uninsured, officers were confronted by a man, during which 3 of our unarmed officers were assaulted and left with injuries. A taser was deployed before 3 people, 1 man and 2 women, were taken to custody on suspicion of police assault. They have all been bailed, pending further investigations. Inquiries are underway, including a review of body-worn video, CCTV and other available footage. Assaults on officers are unacceptable and we will not hesitate to take action should any criminal offence be found. What is going on? What is actually going on? That's now in the space of 2 weeks. 7 police officers in 2 different separate instances happened and been assaulted in Manchester Airport. Now, I know 1 officer out of the 7 seems to have done something a bit unsavoury as well, and that's no ideal. But we still have 5 people, some of whom have obviously assaulted police officers, because that's now 6 needed looked at for injuries, and nobody gets arrested. We've got people who say naughty things on social media, get arrested, charged and held in bail, awaiting trial for weeks before their trial. Very easy. They get arrested, they get charged, they go to court the next day, plead guilty or not guilty. Normally they'll plead not guilty and they'll be held in jail until the court can hear the case. We now have up to 5 people, definitely 3, because there was definitely 2 in the first instance, And without seeing any footage, you would kind of think there's at least one in the second assault. That's at least 3 people that have assaulted police officers in the same place, Manchester Airport, in the space of a couple of weeks. And none of them's been even charged. And I noted on X earlier on today, some journalist, I can't remember his name, I couldn't find the tweet unfortunately, but he had contacted Greater Manchester Police today about the previous incident and was told that the 2 brothers wouldn't be charged until the Independent Police Complaint Commission had finished, which I think is a bit bizarre because, well, you could have 2 of them do things that are bad. So if the police officer does anything bad, does that mean the other 2 don't get charged? It's the only thing I can read into that. Surely that's not the case. So surely if there's 2 groups of people done something wrong, both can be dealt with independently, I would have thought. But I may be wrong. And also, the journalist that contacted Greater Manchester Police this morning, they didn't give him any update when he inquired about the health of the female officer who'd apparently broken her nose in the previous attack. And now we've got another 3 police officers left with injuries and nobody arrested. I don't know. I think being a cop now is probably quite a difficult thing because there's allegations of 2-tier policing, which for that to be true would mean people given orders not to do things and do things differently in different circumstances with similar incidents. But when you see your colleagues beat up and nobody brought to task about it, that most definitely must have an impact on morale, particularly in Greater Manchester. But I would imagine any police officers involved in any of these alleged 2-tier policing instances, if they are indeed true, must affect their morale as well. I think we just want to do our job. And now we're told different things for different incidents if these allegations are indeed true. And that further worries me, because in certain instances it seems to be full riot gear, pull the baton out and ask questions later. And we've all seen footage of people doing nothing. 72-year-old woman takes a gold medal for that. Crazy situations where she seemed to be just standing near a protest and lifted. We've also seen video footage of police officers walking by a guy camera, and one of the guys who looks like a gaffer, and the police are filing past him, and he's ushering them towards people standing in the street, telling them, just pick a body, just jail them. The man had it in camera. And if you're a copper, hearing instructions like that, it must be quite difficult as well. They do have conscience. So that would affect morale. And now when you see officers left injured in busy places like airports, where you would imagine there's probably not that many areas don't have CCTV, and you would hope that the police officers have had their body cams on when they are in such situations, and to see people released without charge must be pretty heartbreaking when you see other people doing arguably lesser crimes being held in remand for 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month, before they go to court for things like saying bad things on social media, not harming police. I think that's bonkers myself. I genuinely think it's absolute bonkers. And it would be good to hear what our Prime Minister is going to do about 2 things. It's all he's sort of done since he came into power. It's cut old folks' heating bills and tell us how bad some people are that are protesting. What we've not heard them do is make any comment on the surge in machete/sword attacks that we've seen rising. I mean, I've done a video yesterday, 2 videos yesterday, very similar in 2 different places in the country, one in Scotland, one in England. So these things concern the public. There seems to be a bit of anarchy in the streets. You know, machetes, swords, and now smashing up police officers. Doesn't seem to get that much of protection, I would say, for police officers. And when we make it almost acceptable to assault police officers in we may see charges going forward, but immediately we don't see the swift actions that we were promised when people protest being delivered with people who batter police officers. And that tells me that those in charge see protests as a far bigger crime than battering police officers. I don't. I think once you feel able to randomly hit police officers, then the game's a bogey. They stop the anarchy. You understand what I'm saying? If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and notifications bell and get involved in the comments below. But unless you're the type of people that want to have an apparent and alleged two-tier policing system, and unless you're the type of people that think attacking and injuring police officers is good fun, to everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.